And the bottom left here for Invictus Gaming, looking to do what his teammate did and take the win. It's MacSed.
And in the top right-hand side for Team Gosu, it is MeomaikA. King of the sea, king of the hydras as well.
I mean, that makes sense. You know, hydras are traditionally a waterborne creatures. They live in the swamps. So if you're king,
Swamps are water.
There's plenty of. I mean,
guess.
it's not quite the ocean, but you can have a. I mean, what could
are you making this up? You're making this up, surely.
What? That
are
swamps
they really
have water in
swamp-born?
them?
No. Are hydras swamp-born?
Hydras are traditionally, like in media, they are characterized as like living in swamps.
Oh, interesting.
Like you play D&D, hydras are very much swamp creatures. They
D&D? Oh, I see what you mean. That hydra. Okay. I thought you were talking StarCraft lore. You're saying
no.
The hydra. Okay.
Yes, the mythical hydra. Although
I see.
I guess maybe that only applies on Hecate and Alcyone. Solaris is not necessarily as Greek myth inspired, so we can't quite go there. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, there's also the real hydra who is we were talking about it in the break, as well as we were discussing Ragnarok's new name, Shin Dongwon Shin, also known as Hydra, also a hydra who is Korean born. Enjoys Peruvian food, I know firsthand.
And I wish there was good Peruvian food where I lived, but imagine having, good food. It's not possible. Anyway, the Lings, they're going to show up on the other side because this was a pool first, and he's going to get right in the main. I don't know how this shouldn't get a ton of probes, Cats, but it's going to be annoying at the very least here. So MacSed has to pull off the line, has to micro appropriately, and already one probe goes. He's going to get a second one here before the death.
No.
Nice pull.
Good pull. Nice try, though. Yeah. Nice try, and this is already pretty okay for MeomaikA, right? The Adept goes back. The Ling is searching for that one probe. Gonna find it too, tag it, but good response yet again from MacSed. MeomaikA with beautiful control here. At least it's keeping the Adept back for a while, but that's kind of a missed opportunity, in my opinion, from MacSed, because a lot of the time you have you got the block, right? So the Adepts are actually pretty good. And B, your first step had to stay back, which to me means like you have a timing to hit with 2 Adepts at once, and that could be really nice. But instead he opts for the Stalker, which means no map control whatsoever. At the same time, difficult to fault him just because he knows that his opponent opened pool first. So the speed timing could hit a little bit earlier as MeomaikA gets ready to go into probably Hydras.
Yeah, this could also be some sort of Nidus play. We're only on 1 gas right now as a probe scouts the main, sees the lair timing. Very nice there, MacSed. But we're gonna what we're looking at here, Cats, is how many gases get taken. Is it gonna be 1 gas, right? That would probably be Ling Queen Nidus something. Is it gonna be 2? Is it gonna be 3? Like, yes, MeomaikA is known as this player that loves his Hydras, that hits these Hydra timings, but he's got other aggressive builds in the chamber here. He's not just a 1 build man. He's got other opportunities. He's got other ideas.
Yeah, this does scream Hydras to me, though, because you don't want the gases too early for Hydras, right? You want to develop your economy as much as possible, especially if you're going for 3 base. So I'm sure he'll add extra gases really soon here as the Hydra then does go down. And there's also the capabilities here for a little bit of a drop play off of those extra links that he has out on the map. So this is really nice play from MeomaikA. We should see gases being added here very shortly thereafter. And the Oracle is actually going to spot this Overlord, but does not react to it.
Yeah, he just sees the Overlord and I guess thinks it's a scouting Overlord. So Oracle, it's still not being pulled back home. The Lings, they're going to get a free pylon. And they get both these Adepts if they get this around. So MacSed, a little bit slow on the pull right there. 1 Adept falls. Second one's going to go down. And yeah, you lose a couple Lings. You don't lose them all. And oh man, Mio is so happy about this one. More Adepts that have to get warped in, have to go deal with this. And when we talk about this Hydra timing, this setup, right, going Stargate into Adepts on the ground, I would assume eventually Blink, maybe Twilight just in response, or maybe Glaives just in response to this. Charge is going to be the option. Everything that MacSed has right now is not well positioned to defend this incoming pressure. Like it's a Hydra, it's a couple Adepts that Adepts can kill Lings and Hydras, but not in the numbers that we're going to see in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And I was expecting a Robo Bay right away after the Robo finished, but not the case, right? With Colossus, that's a lot easier to hold the Hydras, but it doesn't feel like MacSed really knows or is completely aware of what's going on. And if MeomaikA actually catches him, like, you know, close to his wall with the Hydras, it's going to be very difficult to get Zealots out on the map. So it's up to MacSed right now to try to somehow get map control and then fight the Hydras out in the open. If MeomaikA makes his way to the other side uninterrupted, it's going to be very difficult for MacSed.
And it will be. But for now, Charge is about halfway done. Immortal's getting added in. Templar Archives getting added in. And look, if MacSed can get to Ghosts, or not Ghosts, if MacSed can get to Storm, that is going to be such a big deal. As for now, he's losing a pretty significant amount of his economy here as the Adepts find their way into the third base. But the Lings in the main, there. Oh, he might get the. There's no shield battery here. Not going to jump on top of it. That would have been a dead Immortal, I think. At the very least, probes would be pulled off for quite a while. But Meo tries to dive the probes instead. That's not going to work. But hey, he gets out for a second, and then they're dead. But yeah, he got out technically. Technically, yeah, the Immortal would have survived, right? There's the Pro Pool, and there's also the Zealots in the main that could have just made their way back down to defend it. So I like going after the probes there if you're MeomaikA, but definitely doesn't get as much as he would have liked. Did find some damage in the main, however, so it's not the end of the world either. And now MacSed very daring to try and take a third right now against this opening. Yeah, certainly. But for now, there's a stasis trap opportunity here. It looks like Meo saw it, as he's going to bet. Yeah, he's aware of that. So he's not going to lose half of his Hydras to this pressure. And instead, he's kind of forcing around this side. But he's just going to back up. Doesn't feel like he can make something happen. Waits for Hydra range. Waits for roach speed. And it seems like he's going to delay again. Wait to go for the next round of power, next type of pressure. And these Lings on the right side, they're going to find a bunch of charge lots. They do not want to take that fight. So Meo, he's been slowed down pretty significantly by that Adept pressure at the third, just by the fact that he's been scouted. So with roaches on the way, this build is rapidly looking less and less powerful from the King of SDA. It's just, at this point, there are more Archons, there are more Immortals, there's a Robo Bay on the way, Blink's gonna get started. You give MacSed 2 more minutes, not that I think he is, but you give him 60 to 90 seconds, MacSed's army is gonna be really hard for Meo to deal with. Absolutely, it's gonna be very, very difficult. Robo Bay almost done now, Blink on the way, +2 on the way as well for MacSed, so things are looking pretty good for him. And Roach Speed, it's kind of weird to go back down to Roach Tech after having added Hydras. I would have almost preferred just Banelings being added to try to bust through, especially when you see that many charge slots. Like Banelings would have been pretty good despite the nerfs. Well, big opening, however, for MeomaikA. He's going to get into the natural base. More probes are going to go down. Maybe this is an opportunity to saturate a fourth and try to transition into higher tech, as the economic damage that he was looking for is going to be found here. It doesn't seem like much, but the probe count is not particularly gigantic, only at 57. So losing 6 is not going to be nothing. And yeah, that's really nice for MeomaikA. Yeah, I kind of expected to see Meo try to hit the third base as he swings in with. He wasn't in position, but you would like to see something like that where you use the Lings to force the response and then you hit elsewhere. But the interesting thing about this, Cats, is as we move on, I saw the double Robo, and my thought was, okay, well, he's going Disruptor, right? Single Robo Colossus, double Robo Disruptor, but he's going double Robo Colossus instead. And that can be pretty dang powerful against this Roach Hydra composition. So there is an Infestation Pit on the way. There is this kind of next round of tech that Meo's getting ready for. But for right now, he's got 180 supply. He's going to try to run in. Shield Battery, well, it's dead, but there's a second one, and now Roach is going to get on top. The Stasis Trap, not good enough, and well, Shield Battery overcharged. It's pretty dang powerful. Even still, I mean, Meo is just crushing this. He's on top of the Colossus. The Colossus will die. All the defense is dead. Wait, where's that other? There's 55 army supply on the map for MacSed right now. It's on the other side as the Zealots here, but I can't help but feel here, Cats, this move coming out of Meo just a little bit more powerful. Yeah, no doubt. I think the Disruptors would have been really nice if he was anticipating getting attacked here. I don't think that he was. I think that it is more likely, like the double Robo into Colossus is perfectly fine. If you don't think you're going to get attacked and you can get to 3 to 4 Colossus, it's perfectly okay. And then you can transition into Disruptors. But as it stands, I mean, MacSed gets a little bit of damage on the other side, but there's no chance, I think,
on this low count of a base that he can make something happen.
I mean, he did get the Roach Warren, and he did get the Lair. So those are two really big things. Yeah, you can build more Hydras, and that's always really nice. But against a turtled up Protoss player with 2 Disruptors, 2 Colossus, building more Disruptors here, you need more than Hydras. You need a lot more. So Meo is going to find himself pretty heavily slowed down here. And Catch, the crazy thing, there's no additional Lair on the way. Right? He's not getting ready to tech up to Hive, to getting Vipers or something to really make this crush happen. He's just building more Hydras, building more Lings, getting +1 melee on the way. He wants to go for the break. He just wants to end the game. And I don't know how much I like that, actually. I feel like you just establish control, drone up again, get your Lair, and take it 5 more minutes, get the Vipers, and I think you're okay.
Yeah, he should have droned up more. So at the moment, economy is interesting to maybe get a gauge for, because MacSed actually should start mining a little bit more than MeomaikA, and yeah, he has been, like you were saying, and MeomaikA only at 35 workers, and he was like down at 25 or so after the attacks, which I hadn't noticed. So I completely agree with you. Like, if you have the real state and you just did a lot of damage and you have the army to control and slow down your opponent's third, maybe don't continue to all in and maybe drone up a little bit quicker. Instead, he continues to double down on the army. It's kind of a saving grace in some sense that MacSed keeps trying to take the third, because MeomaikA's only or clearest win condition here is going to be to actually break MacSed, who is looking like he has the tools to hold now.
Yeah, I don't know that MacSed quite understands how much damage he did, because, you know, he lost so much of his army. He lost the third base. It's very easy to be afraid.
Yeah.
It's very easy to feel like you're really behind. Like, economically, you're probably horribly behind against the Zerg, so you got to get that third base up. But I don't think he realized, again, how badly he slaughtered the economy of MeomaikA. And I think if he did, he would not be trying to get this third base quite as aggressively. Just sit at home, build your army, and then go take the third. It's fine. You're still mining plenty. You're still in a solid spot against the Zerg.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't know that, right? Because we've been talking about it, like MeomaikA should have, with his map control, probably just been quicker to drone up. If he had just been making drones instead of adding all of these Hydras and Lings that really have done him no favors, then he should have an economy that MacSed is scared about and that he should try to expand against. But as it stands, I'm starting to like the position for MacSed better and better. Finally, a Hive going down for MeomaikA, so that he can try to get Vipers to answer the robo units. But it's going to be oh so late, and there's so many robo units at this point, and with this shield batteries fortifying the third now, it looks very, very difficult for MeomaikA to ever break. So I like MacSed's position. Crazy.
Yeah, it's nice a little bit of run by that Meo had, but the armies are so close together that it really shouldn't get that much done. The Zealots on the right side, well, they're going to force things out as now. Well, I mean, probes are still going down. This is 5 dead probes for the Ling run by. That's not bad. But
it's not bad.
The Lings are also, I mean, we're only on 47 drones here for Meo. The Lings are still pretty expensive. We're not at that point where Lings feel almost free. Not really.
What's going on? Like, where's the probes though? Like we're falling into the same trap on the other side now, where MacSed is not developing his economy. Like you said, he just lost some probes at the natural, and you took a third, so you should want to use it, right? So probes. There we go. 3 probes in production now, but it feels a little bit late. Maybe if MacSed can take a 4th base, he'll still be fine. But now we have 5 Vipers on the way, and it feels like things are swinging the opposite way, where MeomaikA might have some sort of a timing.
You know, I think it's okay that MacSed's probe count is as low as it is, because he took the third, right? 25 out of 60. He's going to fully saturate on 46. You know, he's mined out on the main. He's got 4 mineral patches on the natural.
Yeah.
It's building more probes at this point. You need a 4th base to actually use them.
No, yeah, you're completely right. Yeah, like the natural, I didn't realize it was almost mined out, and it pretty much is. So effectively, he has 1 base and a half. So yeah, it's fine not to produce probes from this point on. Templars, however, are going to be really nice against the Vipers. MacSed's army still looks pretty scary. MeomaikA is maxed out, however, and with an extra base as well, but also just at 42 workers. So he is pretty all in on this. It's a massive army, but will it be enough? There's a lot of AoE on the other side.
And Cats, you know, we were just witness to the greatest buff that a Viper's ever gotten. It takes only 150 energy or 100, only 150 health per charge instead of 200 now. So that means the Hive is just a little bit tankier after all the Vipers stuck on it. The most impactful change we've ever seen. But look at those abducts they're getting ready. Feedback's not good enough. All the Colossus dead in the blink of an eye. Yes, there are a ton of disruptors, but just keep doing that. That's a positive trade. Run back, do it again. And even
That's
still,
huge.
the Vipers, they've got tons of energy. That we got like 4 more abducts on this setup. It's still going to be okay. Diving on top.
The Novas are going to go off. Not well split. Not enough anyway there on the other side. However, actually not many of them connecting either. MeomaikA, I think, has finally done it. After getting rid of the consistent DPS of the Colossus, the Disruptors are not going to be able to output enough, especially against this many links. Like the army of MeomaikA is so nicely layered effectively, right? Because you have Hydras that have a certain range, Roaches that are a little bit closer, Links that are a little bit closer. If you just have like one of those units, especially like the Roaches and the Hydras, it's a lot better for the Disruptor player because you're just aiming kind of at the same distance on the same type of clamp that moves at the same speed. But when you have like 3 different units tiered up like that, and especially with as much melee units as he had, it becomes a lot more difficult of a job to get proper Disruptor shots. So yeah, great job picking off the Colossus, identifying his win condition and going for it.
Yeah, certainly. Cats, by the way, we're going to NA for map 2 because we're playing on Singapore, just if you didn't see that.
Singapore.
Singapore.
I hate it. Singapore, well, not, you know, Singapore looks really nice. I want to visit Singapore, but not the Singapore server. Singapore, Brazil, and Australia. Whenever you say any of those words,
It flashbacks. You know the reaching back in time a little bit. The dog with 1,000-yard stare with the cupcake. You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What?
Like there was a meme on the internet a long time ago that you had a dog that was just looking absolutely like horrified when he's given a cupcake, and it just puts in like Vietnam War flashbacks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. North American StarCraft players when they hear about these servers, just, oh god, not again, please, no.
Not again. Not Singapore.
Not anything but Singapore. But we're gonna get into game 2 very quickly. Cats, any guesses what the map's gonna be?
Site Delta.
You think it's gonna be Site Delta, or are you actually looking at the? Because it is gonna be Site Delta.
I'm in the lobby. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I never mind. When I said that, you're just ruining my fun, Cats. When I said that, the lobby wasn't up. I didn't know. I had to look at the spreadsheet. Regardless, though, you're right. It is Site Delta. Map 2. How do you feel about this map? Again, we're on a 9-map pool. Some maps are getting played more than others. This is the first time we've taken a look at Site Delta today. In PVZ, I know you've been streaming a little bit, shaking the rust off. Your Zerg play a little bit more. How are you feeling about how Site Delta is playing?
I think it's a pretty standard map for the most part. One of the more boring maps in terms of layout, but it is a beautiful map, so I always appreciate that.
Yeah. Again, we talked about this going into maybe our first series that with Hecate, where it's just been very. We had a pool, I think it was 2 pools ago, where everything was very gray, maybe 3 pools ago, and ever since then, we have very much moved into this setup where they're pretty maps, vibrant map pools. You take you to different places. This one, very I don't know, beach-like maybe.
For sure, Ohana-like.
Yeah. And Ohana means family. Family means no one gets left behind, and no one's going to get left behind because game 2 is ready. It's loaded in right now.
Some of these transitions.
How about that, Cats?
Very good. And in the bottom right-hand side on Concrete, who had a Concrete loss in the last game, it's MacSed. Is that Concrete? I'm not sure. It looks like Concrete.
I don't know, Neo Steel, something. In the upper left, on the creep because he plays Zerg, and that's just what happens. Up 1, MacSed.
On the swamp, coming with his signature pull first, yet again. MeomaikA.
Exactly. So
for Team Gosu.
Yeah, game 1, it worked out fairly well. It went and he denied some mining time. He got a good scout, but he didn't really kill any probes. Not much more than that. Game 2, though. So, game 1, as we talk about this, we saw the funky the Hydra all-in. That really actually didn't happen. He turned into a Roach Hydra timing instead. Where does Meo go in this game number 2? We talked about Side Delta. It's a pretty standard map. We have a couple high ground bases, which might be a little odd, but kind of this high ground, low ground situation. But in general, it plays like a very standard map. Where does Meo go here? Because again, I think he's the one we're looking at in this series cast as someone who, if anything is going to be weird, it's Meo. It's not MacSed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we have the exact same openings so far, right? And he does like his tech openings. I guess he could go into Muta or Hydras yet again. Hydra is going to be a little bit less effective on this map just because of the ramps and the high grounds that you were talking about. But depending on which third his opponent takes, I imagine that the kind of the vertical third is going to be a little bit more likely. Then Hydras might still have some openings here. The third is pretty wide open here, and if you break the rocks on the other side, you know, there's also potential there for a timing, so we'll see.
Yeah. For now, though, Lings, they're going to try to find their way in, and even with the chrono, they could have gotten in. They're not going to dive, though. Instead, just checking the third base, seeing what's happening. But really...
That was a full Wolof. Yeah.
Oh, was? Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, never mind. So, no chance to get in. He tried.
No chance, Jose.
Behind that Stargate on the way. And Meo, no third base yet, though. We're on 30s. We're at the timing where you'd expect to see a third base happen, but no drone has been deputized. Okay, there we go. Never mind.
Well, it's the gas, right? Like, he's been mining gas with 3 extra workers, so his economy slows down as a result, and we could expect a lair, I would imagine, any second now. Otherwise, not sure why he's mining the gas with 3 workers at a time, right? So lair in 3, 2, 1, lair. You have to say it with me. That's why it didn't work.
Sorry.
3, 2, 1,
lair.
Lair.
No, it's not working.
Didn't work. Oh, there it is.
There we go. It's that Singapore server, cats. There's a little bit of a delay between when we say it and when it gets to the servers. So yeah, that's that latency in there. It's fine.
Yeah, but it ends up happening anyway. There's going to be a Void Ray opening on the side of MacSed. Yeah, nothing completely out of the ordinary here. Oracle's a little bit more common. Or Void Rays are going to be a little bit better at like clearing overlords, clearing vision. A little bit more of a stable defensive tool in the long run, and you can still use the scout to less avail than you could oracles. Maybe there's going to be an oracle follow-up regardless. We'll have to wait and see.
The way it's been explained to me, at least, is this idea that you get a void ray if you think you can get 2 overlords. And Meo, I didn't see what he did in game 1, but maybe this is something that MacSed has kind of picked up on, is that there are 2 overlords on the other side of the map. There's maybe even a little bit more. Yeah, there's a third one maybe on the other side if Meo doesn't pull that back. So MacSed should get 2 overlords. Maybe he's going to get a third, and that kind of justifies things. But again, Meo, this is the king of SCA. He's the king of Hydras. There's a Hydrogen coming down very early on into this game for the second time. And MacSed, he was kind of ready for the first idea of this, not the second one. How differently... So again, there's going to be that charge opening as he should kill this. There we go. There's the overlord going down. How differently do you think how does MacSed play this differently to win this game? Because this push looks very similar.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see the Robo Bay right away. Instead, it's going to be a very quick Templar Archives, so Storm can also work. You know, I think the Robo Bay makes a little bit more sense just because you already have the Robo set up and you're investing so much on 2 bays that diluting yourself to basically a third tech path can be a little sketch. There's going to be a War Prism made here, so maybe just looking to harass with some Archons, but I think seeing the Hydras this early, your plan probably has to change. Just stay on 2 bays, I guess, get Storm, and take it from there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, though, looking at what Meo is doing. This feels fake. He's gotten a couple Hydras. He's moving on the map a little bit. He's shown these Hydras, but behind this is a very quick infestation pit. And I feel like Meo here, yeah, he's doing lip service to the Hydra build. He's got, 6 Hydras or something. He's going for the next play. He's not dealing with, like, the Hydras are nice, certainly, but this feels like it might... I mean, this feels too early for Hive. This feels like it might even just be for maybe Swarmhost play or something.
No, I think the intention was to go for the Hive, but maybe now confirming that there are Archons out on the field, that he sees that there's going to be obviously Templars with feedback, etc. So whatever Robo opening he was anticipating to counter with the Hive is no longer as important to counter. Right? It's not gonna be like the Vipers are gonna have free reign if you get to them really quick. So I think he's just chilling, and he will just wait for that, for that to be effective down the line. But no need in rushing.
Yeah, certainly not. The other value potentially is if you get a couple infestors, they pop out with fungals now. They don't do quite as much damage, but they don't have quite as much range, but you know, they pop out immediately, and you know, slowing down a bunch of charge lots can be a really solid option. But yeah, you're right. In this game, Hive on the way, fourth base on the way. Meo, he was ready, you know, he wanted to maybe go for that pressure, but now he's not going to. And Max said this army against Hydra Ling
Looks good.
So good. As long as, you know, the Zealots actually can get on top of the Hydra. So for now, Meo is kiting backwards well as he can. Zealots just getting into the mineral line here very, very quickly. The Lings in the front. I mean, Archons, they just shred them, but one Archon dead very quickly here. And Meo shows us just how strong Hydras can be, because this army, we talked about how good it is against Ling Hydra. Well, Meo just swats it aside very quickly. 6 drones go down, but that was not nearly as hard as it looked like it might have been.
No, that was expertly done by Meo, right? Tucks himself into a choke so that the Zealots will be kind of like minimized in the surface area that they can get, and also puts the Lynx behind the Hydras. If the Lynx fall, if you just attack move into that army, then you lose. But what Meo does is he says, okay, I'm gonna attack you with the Hydras because you cannot answer with the range that you have unless you commit. And once you commit, then I'll start buffering with my circlings, and also kind of using the setup that he has with the Hydras, where, oh, nice. Very, very nice. I mean, that's huge. Where the Hydras are serving as a filter for the Lynx to trickle in, thereby making it so that the Archons are not as effective as they would normally be against clumped up Lynx, right? So just beautiful job from MeomaikA on the control and positioning there, and yeah, shuts down easily. And alongside that War Prism, I think he is in a great spot to dictate the pace.
Yeah, what I think is really interesting, though, we look at this, I expected to see Vipers, because Vipers are just kind of the ultimate answer to almost anything that a Protoss has on the ground. But instead, Meo's dropping an Ultra Capper, and he's getting he's triple Evo. He's 1-1-1. He's going for a big, like, Ultra Ling Hydra type of build. And that's a build that falls off very fast as the Protoss gets higher in tech, as they add in more Archons, they add in more Immortals. This is a slim timing that Meo's about to hit right now, and that is one that you can very easily just lose. Fall down very quickly with, just because Ultras, they're good against High Templars. Sure, you add them into a late game against Sky Toss to deal with the High Templar on the ground. But otherwise, Ultras are not particularly good against Protoss.
Certainly not against Immortals. If there aren't Immortals, if this catches MacSed off guard, however, Ultras are one of the best units that you could possibly have against a Protoss ground army. It's just that the Immortals are such a hard counter that if they get spotted, that's going to be an issue. And they get spotted right away. The first Ultra hatches in front of the Zealots, and 2 Immortals are made instantly. So now you're completely right. I mean, these Ultras are going to be complete garbage because they've been spotted.
Yeah, 2 Immortals on the way at a time, as Meo's just trying to go right now. These Ultras, they got 500 HP, but they have 0 armor. They are not tanky. And yeah, the Zealots will go down, but I think you're right, Cats. Or I don't think MacSed cares about losing those Zealots. I mean, keeping them would be nice, but that scout is the most important thing ever. Notice what Meo does on the moment he gets scouted. He drops Vipers. He understands that he needs something to deal with the Robotech units that are going to be popping out here. This timing is not going to work on just Hydra Ling. But I mean, we're already looking at 2 Immortals, 4 Archons, Immortals on the way 2x2. By the time that Meo looks to hit with this army, I mean, there's no way it's cost effective, right?
Right. Yeah, the Ultras are rendered useless. Like, as soon as they get spotted, they're worthless now. So you just have to try to look for Rambais with them, maybe try to kill a base down the line or something like that. In a straight up engagement, they're going to get clicked by the Immortals and they're going to disappear. But hey, at least they cost 25 less minerals.
Yeah. For every Ultra you get 1 free Ling. You build 4 Ultras, you know, that's 4 Lings. It's great. It's the biggest. I love the text on that one. Like, we want to make it a little bit cheaper. It's like, well, I mean, technically, yes. But anyway.
It is a little cheaper, yeah, but...
Meo, though, he's maxed out. He's got Hydras, he's got Ultras, he's got +3 armor on the Ultras right now, so they will be a little bit tankier. MacSed, he's also maxed out here. We got Storm, we got Archons, we got Immortals, we got Shield Batteries.
Just no. Why is he going for it? I mean, he does abduct the Colossus very nicely, and all of them will fall. Now back, please. I mean, surely, right? Like, this is a lot of links, and the Immortals are not particularly good against them. But with the Shield Battery overcharge on 4 Archons, that's gonna be plenty for MacSed. On the other side, he is also doing a little bit of counter-attack damage as well. At the 4th, as the Zealots have found the Spine. At least the Spine does serve to buy a lot of time for MeomaikA to retreat and try to clean this out. But a beautiful concave for MacSed is going to allow him to trade very effectively until the Hydra show up. Finally gets cleaned up, but this looks pretty good. And he's used this opportunity to move out on the map. I'm not sure. This is a little bit reckless. There's not that many warpins either from the Warp Prism, but the army on the side is so powerful. However, only one Immortal focusing the Ultra makes it so that the Ultra actually was a little bit useful during that fight. And MacSed looking very, very strong to take this game now.
Yeah, no, that was great. He got the Archons on the right side on top of Hydras, on top of Lings. They shredded that, and I mean, these are 1-3 Ultras. They are not tanky. They're not particularly good. Drones are going to have to get pulled here. Yeah, Cats, you're right. This is looking so good for MacSed.
It's done. It's done. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know why MeomaikA is making more Ultras. Maybe I'll check the production tab real quick. It's a larva issue. You see, so like when you're down on larva, then the Ultras become the only sensible thing to play, especially when you're playing on stream. You don't want to see people see you floating that money, so you just dump it into Ultras. But against 6-8 Immortals, just no bueno.
No bueno at all. It doesn't work out. So that means now that MeomaikA, MacSed, they're tied up 1 apiece as we move into game number 3. And a reminder, we're looking at the 0-1 match right now. You lose this match, you're on elimination in round 3. That doesn't feel really good, especially for someone like MeomaikA, who has ruled what was formerly the SEA region. That doesn't exist anymore. That's been folded into Asia. People are very happy because there are more slots going from these regions now into Atlanta. More players go into, it's no longer just 4 players going from the open bracket. It's a little bit more open in that way. But even still, we expect more out of MeomaikA. We expect him to make a deep run here as this up-and-comer, as this player who has dominated his region, has had good runs in lands as well. But that decision there to go for Ultras like that, I'm not a fan, Cats. I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, I don't think it's very good either. I was reading a little bit of the chat as they were talking about concrete in space. We have some experts that are saying, like, without an atmosphere, it's probably impractical. And someone else was pointed out how that was very clearly, there was life on that planet, right? A very green setup. So it's very likely that there is some sort of atmosphere, and concrete can be curated. So
not only that,
for the insights, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and not only that, I believe there's actually a water pool on site Delta. So need to let them know we're ready. What's the word? So yeah, certainly, because of course concrete is in part a reaction of water and lime and other things. So like it cures, it needs water to kick off that reaction. There's also the option, there's all this discussion about concrete or not. Well, it's never going to be efficient in modern rocketry to go and send concrete up into space, because that is it's more mass. It costs a lot of rocket fuel.
How do you make concrete on Earth? Yeah, like you could assume that the materials are out in space, right?
It's sand, it's lime, it's other things I forget. But point being, if we can teleport, beach, so if we have battle crews that can teleport around the rocket equation about like worrying about getting concrete into space, I think we're fine there. I think it's gonna be okay. What's also, and
that map was a beach, so surely there's enough sand there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You'd have to think, yeah.
But anyway, game 3 here. So ready, it's MeomaikA. MacSed, 1 player goes to 1-1. 1 goes with their life on the line for round 3. Let's see which is which.
Let's see which is which. That's a sandwich shop. Which?
Yeah.
In the bottom right-hand side, it's yo boy, the Hydra King for Team Gosu, MeomaikA.
Oh me, oh my.
He's always walking around it, like around Atlanta. He would always be walking around with a smile, just very, very approachable person. I really enjoyed MeomaikA's company.
Yeah, I hear great things. In the upper left, in the blue, looking to go up 2-1 here, win the series. It's MacSed. And the fact that MacSed was able to charm people at Katowice, not last year, but 2 years ago, what everyone knew, like everyone hated playing him on ladder. That was the kind of the story. No one had met him in person. Everyone just hated playing him on ladder. These Hydra all-ins. It was just so, I mean, no one likes getting all-in over and over again. So it's just pain. And then, you know, shows up in person at Katowice and just charms the socks off everyone. And it's like, and then you hear afterwards, people are talking about how it's like, man, I just hate the way he plays, but I love the guy. He's just so bubbly. Like, he's great. And he, you know, he almost convinced some of the European Zergs that Hydras were good as well, which is, you know, Cats, I don't need to tell you that's the impressive thing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, both it's Battle of the Bubblies then. They're both very, very bubbly characters. And MacSed, I mean, he's maybe the oldest. Is he the oldest player in the tournament? 37 years old. So he might be the oldest player in all regions.
Yeah, that wouldn't
also impressive in its own right.
That makes him one of the oldest professional esports players, I think, just across esports.
Yep.
Yeah, most people transition into talent work or just retire at that point. So shout out to you, MacSed.
It's pretty wild, to be honest, and you know, to be 1-1 and to continue to qualify in the Chinese region and whatnot, it's actually so impressive.
How old are some of the? How old is like Stork or something like that, like the Brood War players?
Stork, I could look it up for you really quick.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of like OG Brood War players that were playing like early 2000s that are still active in ASL, and maybe some of them are older, but yeah, no, I mean, MacSed.
Oh, maybe, but I almost doubt it because all of them started playing as kids. Stork is 35.
Okay.
Yeah, so MacSed beats him.
Close enough. Anyways, what's also close? MacSed, or excuse me, MeomaikA. Again, it's that 3-minute lair. We've seen the Hydra. We've seen pretty much the same build, different paths afterwards, but the same build 2 times in a row. So, Cats, I'm gonna ask you right now: is this Hydra's again? Does he do something else?
I think it's a third map, right? Like usually it's comfort zone. I think it's probably Hydra's again, judging by the gases as well. Same setup as before. So yeah, nothing that says it's not Hydra's. It looks like Hydra's.
I mean, that makes sense. It certainly is a pretty wide open third base, whichever third base you want to take. It's a little harder to attack up the ramp on this one, maybe. So that's probably where we're going to see MacSed go. But even still, Hydra's hard lead is a smaller map, so you can run across the map a little bit quicker than say Site Delta. But we also see MacSed. He's open with the Void Ray once again. Only 1 kill this time. Only 1 Overlord on the other side of the map. So not quite the bounty that he found last time, where I think he got 3. But even still, Meo.
2, I think. Oh, did he get 3? That's wild.
He got 2 on his side, and then he got 1, I think. I think he got a 3rd when he went on to the other side of the map.
Okay. Well, he's crossing the map now with the Void Ray, so we'll see if he finds anything. But MeomaikA's well tucked in with his Overlords. I'm gonna spot the Void Ray as well moving out. The Void Ray is in turn gonna spot a bunch of links, which is probably nicer for MacSed. If anything, the Oracle is gonna be in position and ready to trigger its pulsar beams at will.
Now, unfortunately, the Void Ray will not find all these Overlords. There are Queens right there, so you can't just kind of stick on top of that and supply block Meo until the ends of the earth. Although that would be funny. It would be pretty fun. Even still, you're right. The Hydra, the Lings, they're not enough to do anything on the other side. So now Hydra's on the way. Hydra speed on the way. The Void Ray, did it scout? It saw the lair. I mean, that probably is going to be enough of a tell. And I mean, these Lings are still trying to find something, Cats.
It's actually pretty wild, and if they don't, MeomaikA is going to be in a lot of trouble, right? His economy is hindered by this, so Void Ray is going to be teleported back, and this is a nice thing about the Void Ray is consistent DPS over time, so even though it deals with links very slowly, it will deal with the links, so you kind of have to just disengage, and that's the disengaging tool. On the other side, MeomaikA is preparing for his all-in, and this time around he is not messing about. 5 gateways, however, and charge on the side of MacSed are intended, so if he can hold off for a little bit, but there's no shield battery, and actually MeomaikA's already here. This might already be too much.
Yeah, this was a false sense of complacency coming out of MacSed right now. He thought that because MeomaikA didn't go for the pressure 2 times, he wouldn't do it the 3rd time either. And now it's into the main base. Zealots, they don't have charge, they're useless. And now, wait a minute, look at this pylon right here. This is so much tech gonna go down if Meo decides to target it, but instead, it's just gonna be the economy. So this is actually kind of a saving grace for MacSed. It's still rough. It's still a bad bad situation, but if that pylon went down, it would have been absolutely game over. Even still, it is game over. I mean, 4 army supply versus 54. There, yeah, no, I'm sorry. That was some cope, cats. This is not going to happen. Meo, 1-1 now. He survives. MacSed though goes down to the elimination match, whatever that gets.